Farm runes, farm souls.
What?
Try fingers, butthole.
Ooh.
Shake your asses, trusty patches.
Nope.
Don't step to me in PvP matches.
What?
Furtive pygmies, big scrubs.
Yeah.
Invaders pulling up like thugs.
What?
Last chance, you wanna dance? I say hello to my big bleed lance. What's that? You still alive? Whole podcast based on vibes.
Wow.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Furtive Pygmies podcast. I'm Chris,
And I'm Eric.
and today we are ranking our best and worst bosses in Elden Ring.
Mm-hmm. We have risen again.
So, Eric, you're still going through the DLC.
I am. I'm still skidooing around.
You haven't beaten
I
Radahn
have
yet.
not beaten the promised consort, Radahn.
What have you spent your time doing?
I really spent a lot of time trying to get a good summon for Jolly Cooperation so I could have somebody carry me through the Radahn fight unsuccessfully.
Hey,
So
Elden
far.
Ring players, if anybody is playing on Steam, help a brother out.
Shout out to Good Hunter. The character's name was Good Hunter.
Yeah?
They're badass. They're much better at this than I am.
Did you die and they were trying to win the fight for you and you couldn't make it?
No, they were.
It's always a shame.
They were going through. They were dodging everything. And
I always feel really embarrassed when I summon a player who's clearly much better than me.
yeah.
And then I die in like one hit by something, and you can see them standing off in the background, and they do that like, what the heck emoji?
Good Hunter's a good sport. I summoned them like 4 times.
Oh, you got to think about like what that kid was thinking back at his house. He's like, oh, this guy again.
No, you got to think about how much patience you need to play a FromSoft game to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, just think about the Zen-like, monk-like patience of the Good Hunter. Legend. It's the next Let Me Solo Her. Motherfucking legend. I love you, Good Hunter. Let's cooperate again.
Well, this episode is dedicated to Good Hunter.
And my Brazilian friend who helped me through Anne Orlando that one time, and also our listener in Cairo, Egypt. We're worldwide.
All right, so today, again, the best and worst Elden Ring bosses. As always, we will start with our worst or our least worst, and then work up to our worst, and then give our honorable mention, and then do the same for our best.
Yeah.
So, Eric, what is your number 5? Not your most worst boss, but what's a boss that you think probably isn't very good?
It's not a bad boss. I'm just going by pain in the ass factor.
I do think up front we should mention Elden Ring has like 270 something bosses.
Many bosses.
So when we're talking about like the best and the worst, there is a lot that fall into the perfectly fine good category.
We're not gonna have any Erdtree avatars or ceremonial watchdogs on our list.
Honestly, I should have done like just Erdtree Avatar as my honorable mention for worst, because it's just like this is just the Asylum Demon copy pasted 20 times. But I tried to be a little bit more specific than that. So
Right.
yeah, so your number 5 worst.
Astel, Natural Born of the Void.
Interesting.
Yeah, just
For your worst.
Just because I like the boss design. It is a cool fight after the first time. New Game Plus, it's a very fun fight. But the first time, you have to get through it.
Okay,
Holy
so
fucking moly.
this does, I'm going to break with our format for a little bit. Usually we kind of take turns when we jump from side to side
Sure.
of the list. But I do want to say now that Astel, Natural Born of the Void is my number 5 on my best list.
Wow.
And for a lot of the reasons you just mentioned, like visually, it's stunning. It is an absolutely beautiful room, and it's this picture of like the universe that you found buried underneath in the depths of this cave.
You're fighting a cosmos.
Yeah, you are fighting a creature that is not of this world, and we've already fought. Like, obviously, there's been comets that have fallen. There's the beasts that have crashed into the lands between. But this is something that has clearly like been embedded for centuries, and I think it's such a cool enemy design, and it is. I agree with you. It's a very, very difficult fight. And if I was fortunately, by the time I found it the first time, very kind of like perfectly spec'd and over leveled for it. So it was more of just this like battle of attrition that I was prepared for. And I honestly, like, when I think back to that, fighting Astel is very much similar to the feeling I get when I first come into Nokron, where it's
Try
like,
to remember
oh
that
wow,
first time you got punched in the face by that laser as soon as you walk in the fog gate.
Oh, well,
Try to remember that, though.
But you see, the thing that you have to do is become the laser.
Exactly.
Find the Kami Kamiha within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I said that wrong. I don't watch Dragon Ball Z. I don't know
You
what
did
it
You
is.
did fine.
Kami Kamiha?
Kamehameha? No.
Okay.
You said it well enough to people know what you're going to talk about.
Okay.
You know, they know what you're talking about. That's fine. You're fine.
My number 5 worst.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you have anything, before I go on, do you have anything else you want to say about Astel?
No, we covered Assel pretty well.
Okay. My number 5 worst is the Godskin duo.
See, I thought about putting Godskin Duo on my list.
Now,
as well.
I do want to be specific here in that I think the Godskin duo is a very easy fight.
Sleep pots, baby.
I have seen so much stuff online about the Godskin duo being like difficult or unfair, and I simply do not understand that. And I don't know if it's the way that I play. Maybe it's the fact that just if you wild strikes with a large enough weapon, you stun lock them into them being unable to do anything.
Wild Strike Gang. We will never do a show on Ashes of War.
No,
because it'll just be
Wild Strikes.
Just Wild
Like,
Strikes.
you don't understand how easy it is to just get them both in the same Wild Strike, and then they're stunned. They can't do anything, and then one will die. It'll appear behind you. Then you kill the first one or the other first one, and then it's easy. It's an easy fight. But I also like, because both versions of the Godskin creatures that appear in that boss fight also appear multiple times throughout the game. It feels kind of cheap and unnecessary. Like, it's one of the rare versions of you get a boss fight after you've already seen enemies that look like this. Mm-hmm. Almost always in FromSoft games, you will have a boss fight, and then later on, maybe that boss will become a regular enemy. But you don't get the regular enemy version first. And I think when you do that, it devalues the boss fight, kind of like how in Dark Souls 2, there is the Rat King fight, where it's just a bunch of rats and then kind of a bigger rat. It's like, this isn't a big deal. I already know how to fight a bunch of rats. I feel very similar about that to the Godskin duo, and that's why it's on my worst list. Mm-hmm. It's just, to me, it's just kind of like a little checkpoint where it's like, oh, okay, here's this again, and here's these two fellas, and they're going to try and do like the dark stuff, and you keep going through it.
I think the big amount of the hatred that comes through it stems from you're fighting two at the same time. It just goes. That's that old Ornstein and Smo syndrome. You know, that's just a pain in the ass.
But they're not like, they don't support each other like Ornstein and
Smo
does. And there's also like, you kill multiples of them even in the boss fight. Like, even the boss fight knows these guys aren't tough enough for an entire health bar. So
I'll dare say I like the Godskin Noble fight more than I like Godskin Duo.
I would absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, you're number 4. Number 4 worst.
Pain in the ass factor. Nothing against the guy. Nothing against the boss. I actually think he's really cool. He's one of my favorite characters. Horaloo.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Just because of the grapples and the earth shattering. That's it.
This is very strange. I wonder how far this will continue. Mm-hmm. And again, breaking with tradition, the number 4 on my best list is Horaloo Warrior.
Hey.
After that, specifically,
we're getting pretty good at lining these up.
Well, except opposites now. Specific Godfrey, like after he turns into Horaloo. So I think it's cool as hell. I think that the fact that you're fighting all of these weird medieval, the knights and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden the king rips off all of his armor is like, no, fuck you, bro. Wrestle me.
Yeah, the dude who wears a ghost of a slain lion.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta fight that guy?
And going back
like I said, he's cool. He's really cool, but still pain in the ass.
Going back to our podcast episode about the NPCs in Dark Souls, like, it's so nice to fight Andre again. Yeah. It's so nice to see Andre show up. Andre. No one has had, like, a real wrestling moveset in a FromSoft game since Andre. And so to see it, like, there have been, like, different versions of it. I don't want to say not specifically, because I know that there's actuallys that can be made there. But specifically, like, a boss like that, you don't get that very often. I only know of 2 characters in FromSoft games that do drop kicks. And it's Andre and it's Horaloo. And it's awesome. Mm-hmm. And I think it's like
And he powerbomb. He's got a powerbomb too. How do you hate that?
It's such a good difference between, I think, second stages of bosses are a really interesting thing to experiment with.
Mm-hmm.
And making them as different as possible sometimes is for the best. And I think what they do from going to Godfrey to Horaloo is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why it's on your worst, but for me, all of those same reasons are why it's for my best.
My worst list is nothing but pain in the ass.
Well, that brings me to number 4 on my worst list, which is Malekith of the Black Blade. Which meets all of your other criteria of I like the character, I think it's cool, I understand why it's here. I hate this
Pain
fight.
in the dick fight.
You talk about fights that cheap you right when you walk through the fog wall, and there is a 50% chance that Malekith is going to do an attack that you will not be able to dodge immediately when you walk in that room. And it is infuriating, and I hate it. I hate it, and I hate it, and I hate him. And he makes me not want to do all of Farum Azula, because it's just like, I don't want to even start this. I don't want to play this game with you. I'm done. I already beat the wrestler. I'm done. That Malekith of the Black Blade is my number 4 worst.
Suck it, sword dog.
Do you have Malekith anywhere on your list?
Malekith is not on mine.
Okay.
He almost made it, but he did not.
So what is your number 3 worst, then?
Number 3 worst pain in the ass fight that I've done 1,000 times, and I had to do recently again.
Okay.
Moog, Lord of Blood.
Moog.
Moog, Lord of Blood. So, that thing with Mikkel is pretty weird, huh?
Yeah, it's interesting that somebody named G.R.R. Martin wrote this story. There's no hints anywhere in it that could tie it to other properties that he's written.
No way.
It's a weird family dynamic that they have, all these people who have the same exact names.
And also keeping like a young old husk of a boy in an egg. Happy Easter, everyone.
So the Moog fight, not my favorite. Not one of my least favorite. Didn't make my list at all. I will say that when I reviewed Elden Ring for Screen Rant, I reviewed the PS5 version. Mm-hmm. When I reviewed Shadow of the Erdtree for Screen Rant, Bandai Namco sent me a Steam code for it. So that means I had to replay all of the game again to get to Shadow of the Erdtree, all within the review window.
Which means you had to do the Radon Festival again, and you had to do Moog again.
Oh, there's some of those I was looking forward to more than others. But when we talk about specifically the Moog, which is something that you definitely have to do to get to the DLC.
Yes, you do.
Turns out there's a very easy cheese for this that you can find on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Where you just, like, get up on a wall and hop and find this particular hole, and if you fall through this particular hole, Moog just dies. And then you just, like...
I find it quicker to just fight him.
It's so not.
Look for the hole.
It's so not quicker. You do not understand, because you can do this like immediately when you get there, so it's like you don't have to be leveled up enough to kill him, number 1. And then number 2, the souls that you get from killing him get you about level to where you need to be to get into the Erdtree and not get your ass kicked. So it's a win-win situation if you're under a time crunch. But yeah, I no strong real opinions on Moog other than I would rather have cheesed the fight than fight him again.
I hate Trace Duo Unum Neil. I hate it. The first time it hits you, it's just pain. But I mean, yeah, I'm prepared for it every subsequent time. But the blood curse in the middle of the fight, could do without it.
Especially because you're usually using a blood build, right?
I am using a bleed. Well, actually, here's the thing. Interestingly enough, Moog is not immune to bleed.
I think he would be.
If it bleeds, I can kill it. Bet.
That was your number 3?
That's number 3.
My number 3 worst is the Elden Beast.
Okay, Elden Beast almost made one of mine.
So the Elden Beast is the weird Pokemon creature that you kill at the end of the game.
Yeah, weird space manatee.
We all know that From Software games have a tendency of kind of shitting the bed when it comes to a final boss. Mm-hmm. It's not... I think what they did in Demon's Souls works thematically. In the same way, if you go back to the bosses in Dark Souls episode and listen to my defense of the Chaos Demon, or the Bed of Chaos, I believe that kind of matches my opinions of the final boss in Demon's Souls. The Elden Beast, I do think, now I know that they patched it later, post-release, to make it to where like you could have Torrent, which you were not able to do when I beat the game back before launch. Which, good God, it's so much running, and it's very random where the monster appears, and it's like it's such a prolonged fight with kind of a none of it makes sense when you do it for the first time, even if you're paying attention to as much lore as possible. Like it makes no sense as to why like the Radon stuff, like the Radagon stuff. The final fight with him, you can piece it together. He's in the rune. It all makes sense thematically up into the game. And then you kill him.
I'll make my Radigan case in a little while.
You kill Radigan, and then all of a sudden you're in a Pokemon final battle in the middle of a lake.
Yeah. You're fighting another Cosmos.
Yeah, you're fighting another Cosmos, but there's no context to how you got there.
Yeah.
And it's so weird, and the fight itself is just very bad. It's not a fun fight. There's no good gimmicks. There's no like.
I'll touch more on that later too.
Okay.
Part of my Radigan rant.
Okay. So that's my number 3 worst, Elden Beast. Number 2. Number 2 worst.
I hate fighting 2 of anything.
Okay.
And I hate fighting things that are bigger than me, especially if there's 2 of them. And I hate poison clouds of things. Okay? All right? And for that reason, I really, really hate Valiant Gargoyles. Valiant Gargoyles is a giant pain in my scrotum fight. And it sucks, and it is a giant pain in my everything. Actually, now that I think about it,
for those of us,
fuck that fight.
For those of us who haven't played Elden Ring in a while, what are the Valiant
Gargoyles?
Which ones are those?
Are 2 gargoyles before you get in that coffin in Nocron or Nox?
Oh! This is the one where there's one gargoyle, and then you're fighting him for a minute.
Yeah,
and
one's a twin blade, and the other one's...
Yes, and the second one pops up, and then after you beat them, then you can get into the coffin.
That is correct.
And
those guys are dickheads.
There's 2... There's a fog door you walk through, but then if you turn around, there's 2 fog doors, because one's the exit.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's... That gate is right after you meet Dee's brother.
I believe that's also correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know exactly the fight you're talking about, and yes, I hate that fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Almost made my number 1.
If I had remembered that fight existed, it probably would have made my worst list. Mm-hmm. I do hate that fight.
I know, the fight sucks.
Yeah.
It's probably best that you don't remember it, because fuck that fight. I'm probably going to have to do it again soon.
Yeah. Yeah, no fun. That's another one where you can get rushed immediately through walking in the fog gate if you're not lucky. Yeah, fair. My number 2, worst, Fire Giant. Man.
I'm going to go ahead and spoil it. He's my number 1. Honestly, fuck him forever.
The Fire Giant.
Fuck him to death.
I hate how big his health... Like, it's so unnecessarily large for a health bar. And I know he's got the foot weakness thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so... It's another one where I do feel like a couple of the bosses in Elden Ring, because this is the first time they've ever experimented with a game that is so large, they give too much space to their boss fight arenas.
Oh, yeah, that arena is ridiculous. And that is a big reason as to why it is my number 1.
Yeah, if that arena was smaller, it would be a more fun fight. Like, I would love the Fire Giant fight if it took place on the walkway to the big urn, or around the edge of the urn, even if you couldn't knock him over onto either side, but just something to where it's not this giant, massive field of nothing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's so much nothing.
And it would
you could like go the half of the fight staying away from him, and then he would take forever to get to you.
Yeah,
and it just doesn't make. You used to be able to cheese him. No,
it prolongs it unnecessarily, kind of in the same way that the size of the arena in the Elden Beast fight does. I just feel like it's not...
Ooh, that is a big arena, too.
It's massive. It's absolutely massive. So many of the bosses, kind of like in this game, could be fixed by a tweaking of the way the arena works. Mm-hmm. I think there are some bosses that utilize their arena really well, like going back to the Hoaraloo thing. I think that the way that Hoaraloo's ground pound attack works really well within the arena that he fights in.
I have another side of the coin argument coming up for big arenas.
Okay.
In my best list.
Okay.
We will get to that.
Well, so do I. I mean, obviously.
Yes.
All right, so I've said my number 2 worst. You've already admitted that Fire Giant was your number 1 worst,
Yep.
but we are supposed to go to our honorable mentions before our number 1. So, Eric, what is your honorable mention for worst boss?
Death Knight.
Death Knight?
Fucking Death Knight.
Just any of them?
Any of them.
Any of the random Death Knights?
Yeah, and the worst part about it is his flying grab. It's really hard to dodge, and he gets most of his health back, and it's bullshit.
Okay.
And fuck him.
Okay. I don't really have any strong feelings towards the Death Knights one way or another. I do not seek them out.
Well, the only one I fought was at the end of a ruin in the DLC, like the end of a catacomb.
Okay.
As a boss fight.
Okay.
And it is a pain.
Ah.
I wish I was fighting a ceremonial watchdog.
My honorable mention for worst boss is Godric the Grafted.
Okay.
I think Godric the Grafted, now that this is one that I also had maybe as an honorable mention candidate for my best list.
Mm-hmm.
And
He's got a dragon arm! That's cool!
The dragon arm is very cool. I think that it's one of those things where he only kind of makes my honorable mention because he was built up so much in the marketing for the game.
Yeah.
Where so much of the early marketing for Elden Ring kind of like centered around like the silhouette of Godric the Grafted.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like the third boss you fight in the game. And then he's just gone for the rest of the story. And I feel like they should have let him stay around longer because it is a very cool design. It's a very neat. He has an interesting role in the story of Elden Ring.
Mm-hmm.
The grafting in and of itself, like, kind of is.
You could have made a whole game around the grafting.
Yeah,
honestly,
like, and it is kind of integral to a lot of other characters' plots and beats.
Mm-hmm.
But his actual like fight it's just the first checkpoint. Like, it's kind of the first test yourself moment after the intro, and I wish it had been better. Like, I wish it had been cooler and built up more. So that's why he's my, like, honorable mention.
Yeah, I can see that.
And now, because you went ahead and spoiled your number 1 worst, I'll say mine. Rykard, Lord of Blasphemy.
Really? Oh! there's gonna be some debating.
So, Rykard, Lord of Blasphemy, is a bullshit fight.
Okay.
Number 1, it's a gimmick fight.
Yeah.
I don't like gimmick fights too much. Despite all the things I've said previously about the gimmick fights that I enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Th-
It's our show. We can take back any stances we wish.
Well, the thing about this is that this is a reused gimmick. This is not a new gimmick.
True.
This is the
Okay.
same gimmick from Demon Souls again.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing the exact same thing, but now it's a giant snake instead of a giant, like, knight.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same thing. Or, I'm sorry, Dark Souls 3, I believe, is the one with the Stormcaller sword. I don't know. There's actually FromSoft has done this gimmick numerous times.
Yeah,
I'm sick of this gimmick.
There's a bigger
point.
nerd out there who can tell us.
I am sick of the gimmick. I am sick of the gimmick of there is a giant monster that takes very little damage, but if you have the one specific weapon, you just do the one specific weapon's attack 4 times and then it dies. It is not fun. That being said, that gimmick can be cool if used properly. Here is my issue. When I played the game, this happened to me twice, by the way, not just once. When I played the game, that boss glitched out on me.
I remember that.
I made a video on the YouTube channel about the boss glitching out on me. And then a bunch of people commented on it, saying it also glitched out on them. And so there's all these idiots like me hitting the the giant tornado sword button, and the giant tornado's going into the snake, and the snake monster's got 0 health, and he's just not dying. And I hate it. It was a very frustrating, annoying glitch, and I know that's a very specific thing that happened to me and demonstrably to a lot of other people.
It's a vibes-based list. You had vibes.
It is a vibes-based list, and when I think back to what boss in Elden Ring do I hate the most, it is the giant fucking snake that wouldn't die even though his health bar was at 0 after I continued to hit him with every attack in my arsenal for 15 minutes. He just would not die. Then I had to reload a save and do it all over again. And then it happened again. And then I had to reload a save and do it a third time, and that time it worked for some reason. Why? God knows.
Don't ask me. We just work here.
So, for all of those reasons, fuck Rykard and his stupid snake face. And I like, the only part about that fight that I like is that after he's dead, you can smack him one more time and then he just fucking disappears. And then you never have to see his dumb face again. I do feel bad for that lady that's all like brainwashed, though.
Oh, yeah, the Volcano Manor.
The story of Volcano Manor is a sad tale.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back with our best list after these messages.
Gotta level my vid. Health bar gotta be big. Well, I'm up on the Palace Road, but I'm on the way to Moog. Well, I'm gonna farm that big dumb chicken.
All right, and we're back ranking the best and worst Elden Ring bosses. We've done the worst, and now it's on to the best.
Let's go.
Eric, number 5. Well, this is going to be kind of a weird list because I've already said my 5 and 4, but let's go ahead and go for you. So your number 5 best.
Number 5, we've kind of touched on him a little bit already.
Okay.
Radigan.
I
love Radigan. I think you could have cut the Elden Beast fight, have Radigan been the
you absolutely could have
absolutely
cut
could have,
Elden
and Radigan
Beast
would have been a perfect final boss.
Yes.
He's a husk. He's a carapace. He's possibly being controlled by Marika, who's hanging crucified on this rune. He's got the remains of the shattered rune inside of him. He's trying to hold everything together. He's trying to hold himself together, the world together, the rune together. It's just a culmination of everything that you've been doing up until this point. And it's so well represented and so well done and so well designed. I like Radigan.
I absolutely agree with that. I think that if Radigan had been the only final boss, that it would have been one of From Software's best final boss fights. Like right up there with Genichiro and Sekiro as like this is perfectly encapsulates the idea of the game. But it's not that. It's the final boss is a giant Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with you. I think Radigan is just absolutely fantastic as a final boss. When like the little ghost of Marika like kind of like hugs him from the back, and also just like that big fuck off hammer.
Oh
like,
yeah,
it's so good.
And the jumps, he's got hops.
I agree a lot with what you said too. Is that it very much does demonstrate this like this husk of a dead leader, of like somebody who's trying to continue to hold it together even though they clearly cannot anymore. Very great design. It's a very fun fight. I enjoy doing that part of it. If it hadn't had the Elden Beast, it would have been one of the best.
Yeah.
And again, my number 5 best was Astel, Natural Born of the Void, for all the reasons we said earlier. And my number 4 was Hoaraloo. So, Eric, what is your number 4 best boss in Elden Ring?
Star Scourge Radahn.
Star Scourge Radahn, only at number 4.
Oh man, I almost put him higher.
Interesting.
I did. But I have other ones who are higher for other reasons.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I also have Star Scourge Radahn on my list. You go ahead and give your reasons now. I'll give mine later.
We're going back to the big arena argument. It works for Radahn.
It does. Radahn is the one and only place where it does work.
It works very well. We touched on it with our favorite moments podcast. I like the festival. I like everything about it. The gathering, the camaraderie, the NPCs, the summons, the pageantry, the old man yelling. It's awesome. But what I really love the most is that he mastered gravity magic so he could ride his tiny horse.
Little horse. His
Leonard.
tiny little horse.
The tiny horse Leonard.
It's the best.
He's great.
Now going back to what you said about the size of the arenas, while I agree that this is the one place where it does work, I still think it could have been a little bit smaller. Mm-hmm. It could have been 25 to 40% smaller, and I think it would have been perfectly fine.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But yes, and I will say a few more things about Radahn later. So who is then next on your list? This would be your number 3 best.
This is where the debate starts.
Oh.
This is where we discuss. This is where we we hash it out.
Okay.
How do we do it, Chris? We do it together. Together, Chris. God-devouring serpent, Praetor fucking Rykard.
Why do you think Rykard is good?
I like snakes. I like pulling a big-ass blood vessel blade out of your body and slicing people with it. Volcano Manor's just a cool place, and it wouldn't have been there without him. Here's another thing I like about that fight. Post-fight, the lady of Volcano Manor's like, so, you defeated our lord, huh? Oh, well!
I understand from a plot perspective why that fight is fun. I kind of...
And Snakes and Bloodsword. There you go. Snakes, Bloodsword, and plot. That's good enough for me.
All right, well, fine. You want to talk snakes?
All right.
You want to talk snakes?
I do want to talk snakes.
My number 3 is Mesmer.
Mesmer's my number 2.
Well, we'll talk about him then.
Snakes.
Going back to what I said about second phases.
Mm-hmm.
The second phase cutscene for Mesmer might be... We were talking previously about our favorite moments in Elden Ring, and we specifically kind of kept that to regular game, not Shadow of the Erdtree stuff. If we had included Shadow of the Erdtree stuff in that episode, the Mesmer cutscene mid-fight may be my favorite moment in all of Elden Ring.
And a beautiful snake, too.
Oh, my God. In the attack, so many things about the Mesmer fight I love. I love that it utilizes a summon sign inside the boss fight, just like the Radahn fight does. I love the transition. I think his second phase is cool as hell. The snakes in general are insane. It's so much fun. It is such a fun fight, and it's hard in a way that feels very fair.
Oh yes, it really is. It was one of the most hard but fair fights.
Yes.
In the DLC.
Yes.
Whereas opposed of they're either one or the other, hard or fair. This one was both.
I disagree. I think there's another one that is also hard and fair that is also on my list, but we'll get to that in a second. But the Mesmer fight is it's so beautiful. I love everything about it. I think that Mesmer adds a lot to the story. And it also it feels like such a victory when you overcome it too. It's so satisfying.
He's your second burning of the Erdtree. You need the fire of Mesmer to burn the shadow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's so cool.
Yeah, I love it. I love the Mesmer fight. That is my number 3. And you said that was your number 2.
My number 2.
So my number 2, I guess, sticking with the DLC. R'Lana.
R'Lana.
R'Lana, the Twin Moon Knight R'Lana.
With her fire blade and her magic blade, and I've spent so much time on that fight.
Look, I understand
no idea.
I understand that you may be too close to it right now to see it. But it is.
No, it's a good fight.
It is such a beautiful fight.
It really is.
And the fire blade and the ice, she's so cool.
Now that I've gotten past it, I can appreciate it more.
And the fact that it's this is a boss that teaches you to remember to jump, I think is needed. I think that more bosses in Elden Ring should have forced you to jump, because then it would have been a skill that you would have learned to utilize better throughout the game. It's fantastic. I love R'Lana so much, and also her weapons are fantastic. It's some of the best boss weapons. I put Godric the Grafted on as my honorable mention for worst. I love the dragon hand you can craft from him. It is one of the best. I think everybody else on my worst doesn't really have a weapon attached to them. But R'Lana's swords, if you go through the DLC twice and get both of them, it's so much fun to use. It is so much fun. There's something about that fight speaks to me, and I love it. That's my number 2 best.
A fight that speaks to you.
Does that
a fight that speaks to you from the DLC?
I want to remind you that we're doing honorable mentions next.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Before you get too excited about your segue,
I am very excited. about my number one pick.
Okay,
But it's my number one pick for a reason.
Our honorable mention for best.
I affectionately refer to him as Godfrey Piss Ghost. This is the first Godfrey you fight.
Godfrey the Golden.
The Golden, yeah. He's got an axe. He's a yellow ghost.
You fight him in the same room that you then later fight Ofnir.
Yeah, you fight Gideon in that same room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just fun. I like the Piss Ghost, so sue me.
Yeah, weird choice. Okay. Why, though?
I mean, okay. It makes more sense canonically to fight the Ghost of Godfrey than Godfrey later, right? I would think so.
Yes.
And he's a golden ghost of himself. He was summoned to defend this spot from you, the Tarnished. I just like saying Piss Ghost.
Okay. I found that fight kind of tedious. It's another one to where if you're not kind of lucky right out the gate, you can get screwed very easy.
It's true, you can.
But I understand it. I mean, I like Godfrey well enough. Not as much as I like his other version. Mm-hmm. But it's fine. It's a perfectly fine pick. No one thinks bad of you.
It's an honorable enough mention.
Well, not as honorable as mine, though, because my honorable mention is Baal the Dread.
Curse you, Baal!
It's the
I am ashamed to say I have not fought Baal yet.
It is the coolest fight. I love Baal so much. All of the Archdragon Peak stuff in the DLC is very, very fun. And, like, the more you get higher and higher, and the lightning gets redder and redder, and there's, like, an ancient dragon that is falling apart, basically, and then Dryleaf Dane just sounds like a psychopath. And it's also incredibly difficult.
Is
like
Egon the dragon guy, though?
What?
Egon the dragon guy?
Oh, maybe.
The one who sounds crazy?
I don't know. One of the guys yells at him, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Is it not Dryleaf Dane?
I think it's Egon.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, Egon, that's a Ghostbuster. Baal the Dread is kick-ass.
Okay, all right. You get no argument from me. I like dragons.
What's your number one your number one most favorite boss in Elden Ring?
I'm excited for this one.
Okay.
Oh, man. I did this fight, and I was blown away. Even though it took me a bunch of tries, I was still blown away. Even from the first onset, I was like, I died very quickly, but that was still fucking awesome. I have a thing, and you'll notice this back in episode 1. I like giant bug ladies. Romina, Saint of the Bud.
Okay.
She's cool.
Romina, Saint of the Bud. That's the big centipede lady. That you fight in the DLC.
That's the one.
I always thought that when I was reviewing the DLC, I was like, they made a whole boss called Saint of the Bud. This is going to make so many memes.
So many weed jokes.
And then nobody made memes about it.
Nobody did it.
And I was like, guys, it's right here. What are y'all doing? I never understood that. Yeah, pretty fight.
It's beautiful
fun.
Fight. Fun. Oh, man. Words fail me. Because,
okay.
Wow. I remember when I did that fight, I said to you, it's not only my favorite fight in the DLC, it may be my favorite fight in all of Elden Ring.
I remember that, yes.
Yeah, just because it just struck me so hard.
It's a big departure visually from what we've seen before, and mechanically having her like crawl everywhere is super fun. Yeah, I can see that. I also, the first time playing through the DLC, I was very struck by that fight. Like I said, I thought it would turn into a meme more. It wasn't particularly difficult, and I do think I kind of ruined it for myself in that I had Dryleaf Dane and there was like 2 NPC summons that I brought with me into that fight. So it wasn't super difficult. I did beat it on the first try, so it didn't stick with me very hard.
Oh, sure.
But I'm glad. That's a cool choice. That's an interesting choice for number one. My number one, going back to what we talked about earlier, that is probably obvious to people paying attention, Star Scourger Dawn. Much like the best moments in Elden Ring, my favorite boss fight is the one of the festival where everybody gets together. It's got the big room. It's doing all these things that FromSoft has never done before. We've talked about it.
Yeah, touching on stuff that they have done before. Like, it's a monument to Jolly Cooperation, and it's a monument to really opening up a new area of the game, because you get to go underground after that meteor falls. He's literally holding back the stars That is scale.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's a fantastic blending of kind of like storytelling and gameplay and mechanics and imagery to like you're fighting a boss with gravity magic, but also the fact that he has gravity magic is important to the lore. And then once you defeat him, he's no longer holding that magic in, and so therefore things start to fall into the earth. And it's and going back to what you said about like he did a lot of it so he could ride his little horse that he loved. Like
it adds to the tragedy.
It's so silly to see this gigantic man on this tiny little horse.
But you can feel the love. It's going to be okay, Leonard. You and me. I do all this for you. And here, all the best characters in Dark Souls and all FromSoft games, Elden Ring, all of them, are just so tragic.
Oh, I can't wait till we get to the Armored Core episode of the podcast where we really could dive into the tragedy. You think this is tragic? Wait till you see what fucking FromSoft thinks corporations are capable of. Generations of family trauma is one thing. Let's add money to the mix and see what happens.
Well, no, we're just taking... It's basically Alzheimer's, because his brain is being rotted.
Oh, there is that too,
he's just wandering the desert forever.
I don't know, I feel like the
zombie.
Alzheimer's version of Radon is more like the one that you fight in the DLC.
Well, it's more like brainwashed, really.
Brainwashed, brain lost, what's the difference? All right, well, that was our best and worst Elden Ring bosses episode. Eric, anything you would like to say before we end it?
4 runes.
I think I should get get the beat first, right?
Oh, okay,
just so you get there.
Yeah, all right. 4 runes, farm souls, cry fingers, buttholes, shake your asses, trusty patches. Don't step to me in PvP matches. Fur to pygmies, big scrubs. Invaders pulling up like thugs.
All right. I think we should get a little more attitude on it.
Okay.
So, shake your asses, trusty patches. Don't step in PvP matches. For the pygmies, big scrubs. Invaders pulling up like thugs. You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a little bit more of the elbows.
Yeah, all right. A little bit of
elbows and shoulders. Last chance. Want to dance. Say hello to my big little lance. Okay. All right. You ready?
Yep. Farm runes, farm souls.
What?
Try fingers, butthole. Shake your asses, trusty patches.
Nope.
Don't step to me in PvP matches.
What?
Fur to pygmies, big scrubs.
Yeah.
Invaders pulling up like thugs.
What?
Last chance, you wanna dance? Say hello to my big bleed lance. What's that? You still alive? Whole podcast based on vibes.
Wow.